the living name by His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj. So I've just been, like a parrot repeating what Maharaj has to say because I was so impressed by this book on japa. So I just wanted to share. So I think we finished 4 or 5 sessions and we'll be doing one more session today. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you all for joining Matajis for this very important session. So, over the last few weeks, I know it wasn't continuously every Tuesday, some Tuesdays there was a break, but we did a series of sessions. So, first was chanting in Yojana. So, how to align our body, mind, and heart is what we saw. Then, chanting in Sambandha. So, we have to understand our Sambandha with Krishna, that we are his eternal servants, and in that mode we learned how to chant. Then we did chanting in seva. So holy name, chanting the Maha Mantra itself is a seva, and then so it's Nama seva. We learned about that in detail. Then last session was chanting in Vipralamba or chanting in separation. So how we understood how we are separated from Krishna, and that feeling of separation should be there because we are so far from Krishna and we are trying to reach him. So that separation should create us that mood of calling out to Krishna, asking him to pick us up from where we are. So today the next would be chanting, how to chant in surrender or Sharanagati. So that will be the topic for today. So is my screen visible, the PowerPoint?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes. So, yes. So this is chanting in Sharanagati or chanting in the mode of surrender. So, in spiritual life, the fact that, we are in spiritual life, we have to understand that, this is spiritual life is not an entitlement or, something that we are doing ourselves. So in spiritual life, we have to become a receiver of divine mercy. So we are on the receiving end, whereas the Lord is on the giving end, we are on the receiving end. So it is receiving of a divine mercy. So whenever we are receiving something, what should our mood be? So we are accepting something from somebody higher up. So our mood should be a mood of surrender. So, so we have to be in this mood of surrender to the holy name, because we need the holy name, not like Krishna needs us to call out his name, but we need the holy name. So we have to be in the mood of surrender. And then also we have to understand that bhakti that we are trying to do is cannot be attained by ourselves. So we may think sometimes that oh, I do so much bhakti, or I have this bhakti, whereas somebody next to me doesn't have. So it is something we cannot attain by ourselves. It is a gift from Krishna or a pure devotee. So having said that, so now we are saying it is a gift from Krishna. So there's nothing for me to do. Is it so? No, it's not like that. So we have to do in order to, who gives the gift? Somebody who's, dear to us, or somebody who's pleased with us. So so we also have to do something in order for Krishna to be moved to give us this mercy. So so there is something that we are able to do to get Krishna to give us this gift. So what is that something is? That something is to take shelter of Krishna. So all of us, may be praying, to Krishna on different situations, and so whose prayer will Krishna answer, right? Anybody can say whose prayer does Krishna answer? So it's his choice, right? Many people may be praying, thousands of people may be praying. So we have to do something to move Krishna's heart so that he is specially inclined to us. So bhakti is not our prerogative. It doesn't come automatically. It comes by Krishna's mercy. But there is something that we can do to get Krishna's mercy, to get his inclination towards us, so that he can bestow us with this mercy. So that's something Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakura says in his Saranagati prayers. He says, Shadanga Sharanagati hoibe jahara, tahara prarthane sune Sri Nandakumara Krishna. So whose prayers does Nanda Kumar Krishna here is the prayers of one who submits unconditionally to the sixfold path of surrender. So Shadanga Sharanagati means the Sharanagati, or the process of surrender, has 6 limbs. And so whoever is doing the prayer in this mood of submission or surrender, their prayers Krishna will hear. So in order to receive the gift of Harinam, so every day morning we are thinking we are doing Harinam, but like I said in my previous talks, we are only uttering the syllables of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the Lord from the spiritual world has to descend in these syllables, and that's when it becomes Harinam. So if you want to receive this gift of Harinam, what should we do? We must surrender to the Harinam, is what Bhaktivinoda Thakura is saying. And then so whenever we surrender to him, then Krishna's inclination will be to turn towards us. So he sees us surrendering, and then he will turn towards us and give this gift of Harinam, or gift of bhakti, to us. So Jagadananda Pandit in Prema Vavarta also says, if you wish to advance on the path of pure bhakti, not many rules in spiritual practices are necessary. Simply beg for complete shelter of Krishna Nama, and thus purify your heart and consciousness. So Prema Vavarta explains that, you probably don't need a lot of, rules and regulations. Sometimes we get stuck in these rules and regulations. We think that, advancement means a lot of rules, but he's saying, if we simply beg for shelter of Krishna, then that Krishna Prema will come, and the holy name will descend. So this is what Prema Vavarta says. So now, what is the surrender? We all know from the example of Draupadi, right? So in that Maya Sabha, when when the attempt was made to disrobe her, she completely took shelter of the Lord. But the Lord did not appear until she took complete shelter in that mood, a complete surrender mood she had to have, because before that she was holding on to her sari, and then she was, expecting Bhishma, Drona, her husbands, everybody to protect her. So only when at the time when she realized that, nobody can protect her, only Krishna can protect her, that is when Krishna came down and really gave her protection. So Srila Prabhupada, in the Nectar of Devotion purport, he writes, Krishna says, when I was away from Draupadi, she cried with the words, Hey Govinda. This call for me has put me in her debt, and that indebtedness is gradually increasing in my heart. So when Draupadi called out, Hey Govinda, in the end, she lifts her, both hands up in the air and she calls out, Hey Govinda. And then Krishna says those words put him in her debt. And then with that indebtedness, he had to come. So the Mahamantra also is simply an address to the Lord. So what we are doing every day should be like this. How Draupadi called for Krishna, our Mahamantra should also be a call for Krishna every day. So whenever we are constantly engaging in calling out for Krishna, then, just like he was obliged to help Draupadi, Krishna will also be obliged to help us. So for Krishna, it is impossible to forget such a devotee. So such a devotee, who's raising both hands and calling out, Just like he could not ignore Draupadi, if we also call out his holy name every day, then he's obliged to come. So that's what Srila Prabhupada has said very nicely. So that gives, a lot of hope for us also. So what is our surrender? So we understand a little bit about surrender. I'll explain a little bit more about surrender later, but our surrender in chanting. So what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says is, as soon as the soul is favorably inclined towards Krishna and he begins his approach to the temple of Prema, we begin, to approach Krishna Prema. So he says, in general, souls are two kinds in context with Krishna Prema. One are aspiring for Prema, and the other one is who has attained Prema. Okay, and both these classes, those who are aspiring and those who have attained Prema, both these classes, they say, are practicing Sharanagati, especially in relation to the holy name. So they have surrendered to the name. So those who have attained prema, they chant with a natural surrender. So they don't have to, struggle. They somehow have this natural tendency to surrender to the holy name, and they've been doing that. And these are usually people who have already attained, Krishna prema, or, prema of the holy name. Then those that are aspiring for prema, now these set of people are understanding. They understand, as they go through their life, they have an understanding that I have no other place to go. I must go to Krishna. And all these lust, greed, and so many other things are troubling me, but I only want bhakti. So those who believe that, right now, I'm being troubled by all these, but I understand that there is nothing else apart from Krishna, and that Krishna is my only hope, then these people also will invest their energy in the holy name. So they are aspiring for this prema. So in Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, in his purport that, yeah, Nija karma dosha phale, Padi Bhavanara Jale, Habu Dubu Khai, I can't sing the song. Katakala, Shantari Jai, Sindhu Anta Nahi Pai, Bhava Sindhu Ananta Vishal. That's only first verse. So this is a 3 words that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in the Bhajana Rahasya. It's actually a purport to a verse which, Yamunacharya writes. So basically, he's lamenting. He's saying, "Oh, my dear Lord Hari, by the bad fruits of my past evil activities, I have slipped and fallen into the waters of ocean of Nishayans, and I have been bobbing and sinking beneath the waves for a very, very long time. So I have not been able to reach the shore of this material existence, for it extends for an unlimitedly vast distance." So Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayers are always, very heart touching. So he describes himself as, suffering in this material world. So here he's saying he's bobbing, up and down beneath the waves of this, and he's trying to swim, but he's not able to reach the shore of what shore is this? This is an ocean of material existence. And then he says, being completely submerged and drowned in this ocean, I have loudly called out with greatly distressed voice for someone to come and rescue. At that time, you came to me, O Lord, knowing that you are the safe shelter at the shore of this fearful ocean, has given me a ray of hope. So this is how, he felt. So he felt, he was submerging and drowning, and he called. He called so that somebody can come. And at that time, Krishna came. Krishna came, and he's saying that, knowing that you are the safe shelter at the shore. So this is how, we should feel that, Krishna is our shelter. Krishna is the only one who can take us out of this material ocean and get us back to the shore. So you, dear Lord, are actually made of compassion. I'm completely convinced that you are the original source of the highest form of causeless mercy. Now this most fallen rascal Bhaktivinoda won't reject you anymore, for I, the befitting object of causeless mercy, have attained the favor of he who abounds in causeless mercy. So finally he's saying, I know you're the most compassionate, and now I'm a fallen rascal, but somehow, I'm an object of your causeless mercy. So I have attained your favor. So Bhaktivinoda did something to attain favor. What did he do? He cried out. He cried out when he was drowning, help, help, someone rescue me. So he cried out to Krishna, and then so Krishna is in debt to come and help Bhaktivinoda Thakura. So this is what is, mode of surrender. So how we should surrender? I think we will surrender only when we understand that, we have nobody else to save us. So in Yeah. So in 64 Angas of Bhakti, that is described by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, those who aspire for prema, so those who want Krishna prema, they focus. So they are saying that, Maharaj is saying, those who want Krishna prema, they focus on the Nama Seva. So Nama Seva, why do they focus on Nama Seva? Because they derive great satisfaction in hearing and remembering the name. So, again, amongst us also, there are some who really love to chant. They chant, more than the minimum 16 rounds, and they have great satisfaction in doing that. Unfortunately, I'm not at all in this category. So there are some who have great satisfaction in hearing and remembering the name. Then it's also said that no worship, different kinds of worship, if you take, no worship is as pure, simple, and effective as sitting and calling out to Krishna. So out of all the types of worships we can do, this chanting is a very simple and effective way. We can just sit down anywhere we are. So it has no rules and regulations, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So no rules and regulations, no restrictions, no class, no ethnicity, nothing, no age, no bar. So anybody can sit and call out to Krishna. So it's a very simple and effective way of aspiring for prema. Then among all devotional activities, Kirtanam and Smaranam is glorified most, right? We also know, right? Out of the processes, 9 limbs of devotional service, Kirtanam and Smaranam are the topmost, because there is no difference between Krishna and his name. So whether we take the holy name is Krishna, Krishna is holy name, and that's why it is a very important activity, the Kirtanam. Then Kirtana or Japa is also the means and the end. So our means of getting Krishna Prema is chanting. And then what is the goal of this chanting is again chanting. So it is the way and the goal are both chanting. So even if we go back to spiritual world, we will still be chanting. So the means is the same and the end is also the same. The goal is also the same. And then it is so powerful, the chanting is so powerful that Krishna personally comes to deliver his devotee. So for all these reasons, whoever is very serious about, getting Krishna Prema, they should do Nama Seva, is what Maharaj is saying. Then how do we, so we've understood that, we should surrender to the holy name. So how do you do that? So the first step, so a gateway, something we want to enter. We want to enter into the process of surrender. So what is a gateway? The first step to surrender is humility. So that we've all been, many acharyas have mentioned. So to enter the vast arena of surrender, start with the first step, which is humility. So because the humble people can go forward in bhakti, whereas the proud people are sent back. So we have to develop a very humble mindset. So a mindset that is, reflective of our current situation. We may not be great chanters. We may be still, doing offenses, or, not even getting, the minimum rounds or anything. But we have to have a reflect means we have to reflect on how we are doing japa. This morning also, that's what we were talking. When we finish japa, we just put the bead bag aside and go away. But we have to take 5 minutes and reflect. How is my japa today? How many rounds have I nicely focused on the holy name? Did I do with the devotion in my heart? Was it only a lip service? Did I do? Was I sleeping? How much my mind was getting distracted. Because if you have any important activity, we always have a review, right? Like if you are in a working environment, every month, you have a monthly review. You review your performance. So, or an annual review, something. So we have to review our performance. So just like that, we have to reflect on our sadhana and also feel like, admit that, today I'm very unsteady in my sadhana, or I'm very fickle in my sadhana, or I don't have any real devotion. I mean, we were reading this book by Satsvarup Das Goswami. He's such a, senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And he himself, keeps saying that, I don't have any real devotion. I'm doing all this, but I don't have devotion, and I'm not even feeling bad that I don't have devotion in my chanting. So that's how, great acharyas are feeling. So, what are we? So we have to constantly, reflect on our state and see how unqualified we are. But yet at least, accept that we are unqualified, but still, beg for his mercy, beg for his acceptance, beg for Krishna's acceptance. So, and here Maharaj says, humility is not like, always, yes, we have to reflect and see how fallen we are, but at the same time we should not get stuck there, like always, मैं बुरी हूँ, मैं ये हूँ, मैं ये हूँ, मैं नहीं कर सकती, मैं नहीं कर सकती. So we should not get stuck in that. So that becomes a self-absorption. Actually, that is also a type of, ego, because you're always reflecting on yourself. So instead of thinking less about ourselves, Maharaj says, think of yourself less. So don't put yourself in the center. So yes, you're bad, but don't focus on that. So instead of self-absorbing, we have to see the extraordinary mercy of the Lord. So despite me not being a very qualified person, this mercy has come to me. So this mercy of holy name has come to me. So how can I see this as Lord's special mercy for me and continue from there? So the mood is Trinada Pisunichana Taroriva Saishnam Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadahari. So this is probably a very verse that we often hear in almost all acharyas quote this, especially Radhanath Swami Maharaj. No lecture of his is actually complete without this. So we have to be in that mode where we are thinking we are lower than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, and we should not expect any personal honor or respect, but give respect to everybody. And only in this condition, we are able to do Kirtanya Sadahari. So if you want to chant regularly and every day, then we have to be in this mode. So Sada means always. So we have to remain humble to be able to chant always. And then Maharaj says, for us to enter into something, enter into the holy name, or into the path of Krishna Prema, then we have to bow down. So our humility is in bowing down. So this picture actually, I got it off the net, but this girl was late for the exam. So the gate was closed. So she is bending down and going under. So, and this person also. So when the gate is small, we bend down. So they say that we have to be humble in order to enter this gateway of surrender. We have to bend, so we have to bow down. So always bow down, bow down. So bow down, mister, bow down, sister. So we have to be in this mode where I will have to bow down to enter this surrender sharanagati mode, or even to enter into the process of chanting. So then yeah. So once Srila Prabhupada, so Trinada Pisunitan I have here, once Srila Prabhupada was, running the pharmacy business in Allahabad, he met one friend, Mr. Kapoor. So he was a friend and a scholar. And so Srila Prabhupada was giving him some tonic as a gift. So Dr. Kapoor was joking. He said, Abhay Babu, I wish you would give me the tonic of Krishna Prema that you yourself use. So when that some medicine he was giving, so he said, Abhay Babu, give me the tonic of Krishna Prema. So to that, Srila Prabhupada said, I don't have that tonic as of yet, but I have the formula. So Srila Prabhupada said, I don't have the tonic, means he's so humble. He's saying, I don't have Krishna Prema, but I have the tonic. I have the formula for the tonic. So what is that formula? The formula is Trinada Pisunichana, Tarora Pisaishnunam, Amanina Manadena, Kirtanya Sadahari. So this is the formula. And Srila Prabhupada said, this is the formula, for chanting, for Krishna Prema. And that I'm going to preach this all over the world. So he told Mr. Kapoor that, this is the formula, I have it, and I'm going to give it to the world. That's what, Srila Prabhupada has been doing and telling us to do. So we have to seriously, imbibe this mood. So, and then, yeah. And then also to get into this mood of surrender, we have to surrender before Nama Kirtana. We have to take help of some prayers by great acharyas like Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Especially Bhaktivinoda Thakura has a collection of poems called Sharanagati, and it's very useful to read this. So actually the acharyas are recommending that sometimes if our mood becomes very dry and very mechanical during chanting, because we are doing 16 rounds, we can stop, take a pause in between, and then read some of these verses, because it will put you in that mood. So if we will introspect, we will recognize our deficiencies, and then we become very humble, and then in that humble state we can chant better. So it is, I mean, try this. If suppose our chanting has become very dry, in between 16 rounds we can do this. And just one this mood I'll just share. This is called Amara Jivana Sada Paparata. Nahi ko punyera lesha, parera udvega diyachi je kata, diyache jivera klesha. The poem is not there. I'll just read the translation because I'm very bad at reading this. I have no tune. I don't know any Bengali. So I'll just read the translation. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, my life is ever given to sin. In it, there is not a particle of good. I have caused others great anxiety and have troubled all souls. For the sake of my own enjoyment, I have never hesitated to perform sinful acts. Devoid of all compassion, I am concerned only with my selfish interests. Perpetually speaking lies, I become dejected upon seeing others happy, whereas the misery of others is a source of great delight for me. This Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, just imagine his mood of humility. And this, we should not think that acharyas are just writing this to write it, or for some name fame. This is how they feel. So the more the acharyas are advanced, the more humble they become. So this is, please don't take these as something that they are making up to write or something. This is exact mood that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is in. And he's saying there are limitless material desires within the core of my heart. I am wrathful, fond of exhibiting arrogance, intoxicated by vanity, and bewildered by worldly affairs. I wear the cherished ornaments of envy and egotism. Ruined by laziness and sleep, I resist all pious deeds, yet I am very enthusiastic to perform wicked acts. For the sake of worldly fame and reputation, I engage in the practice of deceitfulness. I am victimized by my own greed, being always lustful. A vile, wicked man such as this, rejected by godly people, is a constant offender. Devoid of all good works, forever inclined towards evil, he is worn out and wasted by various miseries. We should put ourselves in this position and see. Now, in old age, in deprived of all means of relief, this humbled and poor Bhakti Vinoda submits his tale of grief at the feet of the Supreme Lord. So he is saying Bhakti Vinoda Prabhura Charane Kore Dukha Nivedana. So he's feeling all this and he's submitting in his old age. He's submitting all this to the feet of the Supreme Lord. So so every sadhaka should what should we do? Every sadhaka, when sadhakas, as we are practicing devotees, we should every morning and evening make ourselves chased by these prayers. So we are not feeling like that, unfortunately. We are like that, but we're not feeling. But at least when we read the prayers, we will probably understand that we are also in that same position. And then we'll become aware of our disqualification. So because getting the Harinam, getting to chant the Harinam is also great qualification. I mean, not qualification, great mercy. So I think we are not understanding what mercy we have. So we have to remind ourselves that we are not qualified, and we have to realize that we don't deserve Harinam also. We don't deserve any mercy or Harinam from the Lord, and that we are very insignificant in relation to God. So humility means that in relationship to God, we are very far away. So we are very far away. I mean, there's so much between where we are now in this material world and to attaining Krishna Prema. So how much far away we are, how much lowly we are. So how much insignificant we are in comparison to somebody is not muted. So how insignificant we are in relation to God is what we have to realize. And when we realize and when we read such prayers, that humility we will get. Otherwise, we are always, some pride we all have, the anarthas we still have. So we should feel like this and take the help of these prayers. And I like something that Maharaj writes. He said, feel like a beginner always. How many ever years we have been in bhakti, it doesn't matter. But, feel like a beginner always, because in the beginning, we will feel low. So never think ourselves as, being very advanced devotee or, senior devotee or something like that. So we should always feel like a beginner. We are a beginner because we are where we are. We are still stuck in this material world and the Lord is, far away from us. So we are all beginners. And I like the statement that Maharaj makes. When we lament for something material, like in this world, when we lament for something that we're not getting, either it could be material like a car or something, or somebody's attention, or some happiness, freedom from misery, or these material problems that we have. When we lament for those things will pull us down. So we get depressed because we are not having those. But he says when we lament for Krishna, it lifts us up. So that is the difference between lamenting for material versus lamenting for Krishna. So lamenting for Krishna always is uplifting. So we should do. So that's why the way up is by bending down. This statement also I really liked it. He says the way up is by bending down. So the more you bend down under the gate, you're able to go enter into the mood of surrender. So you want to go up to Krishna, lift yourselves up to Krishna, then you have to bend down. So this the way up is by bending down. I remember. So sometimes we are in the altar seva so much, right? So we go and come multiple times, and sometimes we go so many times that sometimes you don't pay obeisances. We do it one or two times, and then we are at least I was doing that. Then I always remember this, bend down, bend down. So now I'm trying to, whenever I enter the altar, I should, compulsorily bend down. So we all have to bend down to enter that gate of surrender. And then, in surrender, I'm sure you all must have, read this, but surrender has six limbs. So it's called Shad Anga. So six aspects of surrender are given in Hari Bhakti Vilasa. They are Anukulasya Sankalpa, Pratikulasya Varjanam, Rakshishyati Vishwaso, Goptritve Varanam Tatha, Atma Nikshepa. Mataji's, Kavita Mataji, can you mute everyone? Yeah, so Anukulasya Sankalpa is doing only what is favorable for bhakti. So anytime we have choices, every day we have choices of whether, a simple example we give, whether you want to go for a satsang or go for a movie with your friends. So whatever is favorable to bhakti, we have to pick. So that is the first aspect of surrender is, are we doing what is favorable to bhakti? So in our daily lives, we all have to introspect and see, are we doing what is favorable for bhakti? Then second aspect is pratikulasya varjanam. So we have to reject everything that is unfavorable for bhakti. So it's similar, like first example, if you reject, going out to a movie, then you're rejecting what is pratikulasya varjanam. So these two are kind of go hand in hand. And then rakshishyati viswaso. So this is the third aspect of, this is one of the angas of Sharanagati. And this is having faith that only Bhagavan can protect us. So just like that example where Bhakti Vinoda has cried, where he's fallen into the material ocean and he's calling out for help, and then he realized that only Krishna can help him, only Krishna can protect him. So that is the that deep faith that we should have, that only Krishna can protect me. It may not be directly is coming, like he's come for Draupadi, but he can send, he can send an acharya, he can send another devotee to help us. But we have to have this deep faith that, Krishna is my only protector. If you are going to depend on, family or, anybody else, it's not going to work out. Of course, Krishna can use everybody else to protect you, but the ultimate person who protects you is Krishna only. And then the fourth one is Goptritve Varanam. So this is accepting Bhagavan as our only maintainer. So who's maintaining us? This is Bhagavan. So we should have a deep faith that we are completely dependent on Krishna. Then I'll come back to that. And then Atma Nikshepa. So complete submission of oneself. So we have to completely submit ourselves like Bhaktivinoda has done. And then Karpanya means feeling meek and humble and insignificant, wretched and materially destitute. Again, this last verse, the last Sharanagati prayers that we've read shows this mood, Karpanya and Atmanikshepa. So these are the Shadvida Sharanagati. So these are the six limbs of surrender given in Hari Bhakti Vilasa. And out of these, the fourth one, the Goptritve Varanam, which is accepting Bhagavan as our only maintainer, is the most important part of these six angas. So this is called Angi. This is called Angi, and the rest of the five are supporting this limb. So the 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 will support the fourth one. So that's why it's very important to understand that Krishna is our only maintainer. So we must have a deep conviction that Krishna alone can take care of us. Everybody else, like I said, family, friends, and all, they support us, but behind all of them is Krishna. So and that's why Srila Prabhupada always says, right, when you chant, we should cry out for Krishna. How? Like a dependent child cries out for the mother. So how much a child is dependent on mother? Like if you have an infant, who's creeping and crawling, he's so dependent. I mean, he cannot talk, he cannot walk. So how much is dependent on his mother for sustaining his life? Similarly, we should also put ourselves in Krishna's hands and trust him to maintain and protect us. Because see, if a child is dependent on mother always takes care of him, right? No mother, we don't know any mother that would not take care of her own child. So just like that, if we are also like that child depending on Krishna, then, completely make ourselves dependent on Krishna, then Krishna is much more merciful. His mercy is, more than 1,000 mothers. So how can he ignore us? So if we show that dependence, then Krishna will definitely take care of us, is what Maharaj is saying. And especially, although we have wronged him in so many ways, right? So many lifetimes we have rejected Krishna. But one simple statement, like when you turn towards Krishna and say, I am yours, then, Krishna is so kind that he will accept us. So this is, we are taking shelter in the mood of a child is Sharanagati, especially, understanding that Krishna is our only maintainer. So this is how we have to do Sharanagati to Krishna. And then he speaks a little bit. So we have to have a deep conviction that Krishna alone can take care of us. We should cry out for Krishna like a dependent child calls for its mother, and put ourselves into Krishna's hands and trust him to maintain and protect us. And just like I said, which mother will not take care of a child? So Srila Prabhupada says this crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotion service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotion service. And we see, many acharyas telling us, like, when you hear Gaur Govind Swami's lectures or something, cry for Krishna. So we have to cry for Krishna. So only, then we can attract his attention. Then there's a mention of, taking shelter of the holy dham in this process of surrender and, serving the holy name in this mood. Taking shelter of holy dhama is very important. So what Maharaj says is, when we want to develop a relationship with somebody, we want to become close to somebody, like, somebody you just began to know her or her as a friend, and you want to get close to her, what will you do? We go home and visit them, right? So, or you call them home to, be able to spend some more time and associate with them. So like that, Krishna's home is, these holy dhamas. So where he enacted pastimes and is continuing to enact. So that's his home. So such a person, just like, I want to go to my friend's house in order to develop a more deeper bond with her, then I have to go to the dhama, which is Krishna's home, to go and request him to please accept me. So pray and ask him to accept you by going to his dhama. And we understood, like, when you surrender, just like a child surrendering to mother, when you surrender, how Krishna will reciprocate. So he will accept us and he will also reciprocate in amazing ways. And when you're in holy dhama, our chanting, we all know that, it yields much higher results. It's more satisfying, more focused, and yields higher results. And actually Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommends. So in Madhya Leela, he says, Vrindavane asi Prabhu Vasiya Ekanta Nama Sankirtana Kare Madhyahana Paryanta. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also would go to Vrindavana, sit in a solitary place, and he would chant from morning until noon. So we all know the power of Dhamma. So they say, 1,000 times more results when you chant in the Dhamma. And then Nama Sankirtanam Shriman Mathura Mandale Sthiti. So one should congregationally chant the holy name of the Lord and reside in Vrindavana. Even Madhya Leela. Madhya Leela also recommends that we do this. Actually, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami that, Nama Sankirtanam Sriman Mathura Mandale Sthiti. So please chant congregationally and reside in Vrindavana. So this is instruction that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Sri Sanatana Goswami. Then Sri Rupa Goswami also considers this vital, this advice vital. So that's why in his book of instructions, he gave this, he summarized the process of this, chanting in the holy Dhamma as Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya Tishtan Vrajetad Anuragi Jananugami Kalam Naye Dakhilam Iti Upadesha Saram. So this is in Nectar of Instruction 8. Sri Rupa Goswami tells, what does he say? The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, form, qualities, and pastimes, thereby engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Goloka Vrindavana Dhama, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. So, Tishtan Vraje, Tad Anuragi. So, Tishtan means to reside in Vraja. One should follow in the footsteps of Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. So, by visiting the Dhamma, we can deepen our devotion service. So, this is what Sri Rupa Goswami has said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said. Now, why is it that Dharma has more potency? Why is Dharma so important? Why are they focusing so much on Dharma? Is Vrindavan or any Dham for that matter, I believe has Krishna's energies, two energies specifically. One is the Taraka Shakti. Taraka Shakti is the energy of liberation. So it liberates us from all our material desires. That's why when we go to Dharma, we really forget our our material problems back home. It's like we leave our material problems back home and go, because there is Taraka Shakti in the Dharma, that with that energy Krishna liberates us from our old samskaras. And also there is Paraka Shakti. Now what is Paraka Shakti? Paraka Shakti is the energy of attraction. So apart from liberating us from our material conditionings, he also pulls us. So this is an attractive Shakti. So it is an energy of attraction that Krishna has. So it pulls us towards Krishna. And that's why chanting in the Dharma works much better than, sitting in our home and doing. But of course, we may not have practically, be able to go to Dharma, being Grihasthas. But there is a great opportunity that we can reside in the Dharma mentally. So this is like, Manasi Puja. So our mind is, I know it's very complicated. It can distract us from japa. It can, go to some places, think of your day, think of yesterday, think of 20 years ago, all that mischief your mind can do. But mind also has a great potency to take you to Vraja. I mean, you can be sitting, like I'm sitting in my room and doing japa, and mentally I can be in Vraja. So that is the beauty of the mind again. So, because there's a tremendous benefit, we can mentally, do our kirtana or do our holy name every day. Every day, actually, we can go to Govardhan, we can go to Radhakund, we can go to Yamuna, we can also go to Srila Prabhupada Samadhi in Mayapur, and then mentally we can chant. So, actually, Maharaj recommends this, that mentally you go to a holy place. Like you can be on the Radhakund bank or Yamuna if you like. Imagine yourself at the bank of Yamuna, and then you do your bhajana. So that is recommended. And then he says, Tavasmiti vadan vacha tathaiva manasa vidan tat sthanam asiratas tanva modate sharanagataha. So one whose body is fully surrendered takes shelter at the holy place where Krishna had his pastimes, and he prays to the Lord, my Lord, I am yours. Understanding this with his mind, he enjoys spiritual bliss. Actually, so just like I said, when you want to associate with somebody, make friends with somebody, you go to their home. Just like that, if this slide on the right, the picture on the right I put, because suppose you have a strange relationship, like you're breaking up with your boyfriend, or you have a fight with your boyfriend. What does he do? He goes home to the girl, and then he's trying to make it up. So he's trying to pacify her in the home. So just like that, we have angered, just like their relationship is strained, the girlfriend and boyfriend's relationship, our relationship with Krishna is also strained, and that is why we are so far away in the material world. So to reconnect, or what do you call, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, to make up, yeah, to make up that relationship, we also have to go. We have to go and beg Krishna to, pardon us for coming away from us for so many lifetimes. We have not looked at him. And for this damaged relationship, what do we have to do? So we have to go to his home and pray for him. So we have to go to his dharma, either, mentally or physically, and then pray and say, my Lord, I'm yours. My Lord, I'm yours. Please, please accept me. So for his mercy is more easily given when we go, rather than, we expecting him to come down to us. So this is how we should do the surrender to the Lord. And then how about receiving the divine gift of prema dhana? So this prema dhana, which is harinam, how do we get that? So in Sikshashtakam, nothing higher than Sikshashtakam that tells you of your mood of chanting, how to get this gift from Krishna. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very nicely has given us these 8 verses of Sikshashtakam about the mood of chanting. I won't be able to go through all, but a couple verses that are very important here is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feels about his separation from Krishna, and he feels like life is simply waste of time without the love of Godhead. So he says, Yugaitam nimishena chakshusham pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. So govinda viraha. So without Govinda in this world, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam. So without Govinda, without the love of Godhead, this whole world is Shunya. So that's how he's feeling. And then in this separation, he's having, his eyes are filled with tears. Nayanam galadashrudharaya, vadanam gadgadaruddhaya gira, pulakair nichitam vapukada tavanam agrahane bhavishyati. So he's actually questioning, when will my eyes be filled with tears when I chant your holy name? And this is something we have to question also. When will our eyes fill with tears when we chant the holy name? When will my voice falter and my hair stand on end when I chant your holy name? So, because we know that chanting, by following path of chanting the holy name, we get Krishna prema, right? The conditioned souls will attain Krishna prema. That Shastra is mentioning. So, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So, when we do Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, we are all Param Vijayi. So, we will get the prema dhana. So, how to do it? This is in the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, I experience every moment as a millennium, and in my agitation, the day never ends. Pouring excessive tears, my eyes are like clouds in rainy season. The three worlds have become void, and I feel as if I am burning alive in a slow fire of your separation. Lord Krishna, you have become indifferent to me just to test my love. So this is, how Sikshashtakam progresses, the verse 7 and 8. So this is the mood of Radharani. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is echoing the mood of Radharani here, and she is, showing the characteristics of pure love. Of course, we cannot mimic this, but this separation we should feel. And in the last verse, Shikshashtakam, he says, right, like, you can handle me roughly or you can embrace me, but whatever you do, you are my worshipable Lord. What is that verse, the eighth one? Yeah, he says, what is the eighth verse? Anybody remembers?
Ashlishya.
Ashkrishya va padaratam pinashtumam adarshanam marmahatam karotva. Adarshanam means you may not give me darshan. Adarshanam marmahatam karotva yada tadha vidadatu lampato mat prananathastu saiva napara. So whatever you do with me. So this is surrender. Whatever you do, it's not like, you give me this, I'll chant, or, I want this, I want this. So whatever you do with me, you trample me, you embrace me, you kick me. Whatever you do, you will be my worshipable Lord. So that is the mood of surrender that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us. So so now we've understood, the mood of, how to progress towards prema. But then we also said that it's mercy, right? We said that bhakti is Lord's mercy. So this divine love that we are talking about, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking about, where do we get it from? So where do we get this from? Anybody? Where do we get this love from? Gift of holy name. Gift of holy name is when you unwrap the gift of holy name, it is pure love of God. So see, there's a overlap. I mean, some place I'm saying Krishna Prema, pure love of God, and then they're talking Harinam, holy name. But holy name is a gift which, if we unwrap, that is Krishna Prema. So you should not see very big difference between Krishna Prema and pure name, chanting of the pure name. So whenever we don't have anything, what do we do? Where do we get it from? We have to get it from somebody that has it, right? Simple. So here, this beggar is not rich. She's not having any money. So she's asking a rich guy who has money. So only if somebody has something, they are able to give you. And you ask that which you don't have. So you have to go to somebody that has it. So similarly, we don't have this divine love. We don't have, the love for chanting. So what do? We go to somebody that has this Krishna Prema, that has this, Namaruchi. So that is what we have to do. At the same time, see, this beggar is attached to the money, right? So the attachment, they say, does not reside in the object of attachment. So what does that mean? So in order to get the money, she cannot go directly to the money and say, come. She's going to a person who has the money. So just like that, we cannot go directly to Krishna for his love. We have to go to somebody that has Krishna's love. Am I making myself clear? Yeah. So the attachment is not in the object of the attachment. So if we seek attachment to Krishna, we do not look to Krishna, but we have to look to a person who possesses that attachment to Krishna, right? So you need to look for somebody who has attachment to Krishna so that he can also teach us how to get attached to Krishna. Because if you go to Krishna, Krishna will not tell you how to get attached to him. So like that, that's why we need people, or gurus and pure devotees who have this divine love and who have this attachment. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse that says that, my dear Lord, I therefore do not wish to have the benediction of merging into your existence, or a benediction in which there is no existence of the nectarian beverage of your lotus feet. So he's saying that, I don't want liberation. I don't want merging in your existence. Because why? Because Krishna's lotus feet is not there. Then I want a benediction of at least 1 million years, for thus I may be able to hear about the glories of your lotus feet. From where? From the mouths of your pure devotees. So that is who we have to go. So you can have million years, but what are you going to hear? From who are you going to hear? From the mouths of pure devotees. So this is who we have to seek always, pure devotees who can give us this attachment, who can give us this Namaruchi. So he further explains that, even in terms of, material attachment, what happens when we hear some songs, or, we see some movies, we get affected, right? It kind of lingers when we do these material things. So attachment happens when you're associating with something. So suppose somebody is, always talking of the opposite sex, then even your mind will, focus on a romantic relationship with the opposite sex. So like that. So we are always we get it from the association we seek. So today I'm not attached to the Lord. So what should I do? I should be associating with somebody who's attached to the Lord. So some of it rubs on to us. So this is the technique that acharyas are recommending for us. And this is what Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura is saying in this verse, that, my dear Lord, I want to associate with the devotees, because when they talk about you, the love which they have in the core of their hearts comes out through their mouths. I seek the blessings to have millions of years in the presence of millions of your devotees, so that I may simply listen to them and imbibe your love. So this process of imbibing somebody else's love is given by Srila Rupa Goswami, who says, Yasya yat sangati pumsho manivas yat satadguna swakula riddhaya tato dhiman swayuthan eva samshrayet. Means whoever we are with, then their characteristics will rub onto us. So Srila Rupa Goswami, in this verse, he gives an example of a crystal. So if you have a white crystal, you put it on a table and you put, suppose, a red hibiscus flower next to it, the crystal appears red. So like that, we don't have the prema, we don't have the attachment to Harinam. We don't have the surrender to the holy name. So we have to be next to somebody who is surrendered to the holy name, so that we imbibe that color, just like this crystal imbibes. And also another example I heard was, when you can dip your white, white cloth in a saffron colored dye, or, pink colored dye, and then how the dye is taken up by the cloth takes up the color. So just like that, whenever we associate with pure devotees who have attachment, who have love for holy name, attachment for holy name and surrender for holy name, then, our chances are that we will also imbibe some of it. So practically, what does it mean to surrender to the whole? Actually, Maharaj also mentions, similarly in Kirtana also, he says, Kirtana also needs to be led by, pure devotees, not somebody who's very musically oriented or who knows a lot of ragas, because they cannot transmit, the love of Godhead through their Kirtana. So that Kirtana Shakti can flow only, if they have love for Krishna, and such a person sings. So if somebody who thinks that, oh, people are coming to hear my Kirtana, then it is like a nice example Maharaj gives. So suppose there is a priest who is opening the altar, who is opening the curtains for darshan of deities. So thousands of people have come to the temple to see the deities, but if you start thinking, oh, they have come to see me, they have come to see how I'm dressed, or how nice my muscles are, or how I'm dressed up and all, then that is foolish, right? So similarly, a person performing Kirtana, if he thinks that people have come to see how he is performing, then that is a mistake. Then you only have to give, the holy name to people. So you're only an instrument of giving the holy name of people. People have come to hear the holy name, not to see how well he can perform. So that's why the consciousness of Kirtana leader is very important, is what Maharaj is emphasizing. And then, so surrender to Krishna in the form of holy name. So we've kind of discussed surrender to Krishna, but Krishna is holy name. So how to surrender to Krishna in the form of holy name? So how to surrender to Harinam Prabhu is can be very very basics also, like chanting a certain number of rounds daily. So whatever sankalpa we took with our spiritual master or Siksha Guru, then chanting those number of rounds without failing, that is also an initial step to surrender to holy name only. And then we can kind of make our own surrender, like listening with full attention. So attentive japa is also surrender. We have to give first class oral reception, because it is a holy name, it is Krishna that we are calling out, so we have to give him a first class reception through our ears. And then we have to chant with an inner orientation. So chanting with the inner orientation, like we've discussed, be it seva or vipralamba, or surrender, like I give myself to you. So now we are saying I'm giving myself to you in surrender. So chanting with that orientation, with that mood is also nice, is a nice form of surrender. Then trying to avoid all the nama paradas is also a way of surrendering. Then reading the Sharanagati prayers to imbibe that mood of surrender. Then Maharaj says, we have to make nama seva our priority. And then place Krishna in the center, and we have to mold our life in such a way that that japa is a priority. Like I was saying, previous talks also, if we think my day is going to be the same, and here and there I'll get some rounds done, like morning I'll do 4 rounds, and afternoon I'll do 4 rounds. So if if we're trying to squeeze japa in our lifestyle, that is not recommended. We have to give japa priority, mostly in the morning, Brahma Muhurta, and then mold our life around it, around the japa time, so that without this nectar of holy name, we cannot be peaceful. So that's how we should progress towards that. Aaj mere rounds achhe nahi hue to I'm not peaceful. So only doing quality rounds, attentive rounds, rounds free of offenses, only then I will be peaceful. So we have to get there sometime. And then the surrender to the holy name is a kind of personal. So everybody has a different way, or different sankalpas you can do for surrendering. It's a very personal thing. So each of us can go deep inside and then try to see, what is my next step in relation to Krishna's holy name? Like, how I can improve. I am here today. How can I improve? So everybody can take these individual assessments and see how we can improve. And then we probably know, if we go deep down into our heart, we'll understand in relation to holy name, what is it to surrender. So each of us may have a little different thing. Like, if I'm not doing regularly, maybe committing to regular japa, regular morning japa, finishing my rounds before 7, it will be a way of my surrender. Or if I'm doing very mechanical rounds, and I'm not able to, do with devotion, and taking the sankalpa that I will, try and do with devotion, then that is my surrender. Or I'm not getting this mood of surrender, I'm going to read Sharanagati prayers every morning in between my rounds, halfway between my rounds, and that is your surrender. So everybody can have, different forms based on where we are. We can all choose, how we should surrender in small, baby steps. Again, we are probably not going to attain anytime soon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood for the holy name of Krishna, but small baby steps of surrender we should do. So surrender to the holy name, because that is surrendering to Krishna. Moving towards Prema Dhana, that is Krishna's mercy and a pure devotee's mercy that we have, fortunately. And then understanding that, we are not qualified, yet we have this mercy. So, how can I make the best use? And then completely depending on Krishna for our maintenance and protection, just like a small child is. And then just like Draupadi called Krishna, hey Govinda, and he came every morning, we should also call out for Krishna. So he will descend in our utterances of Nama. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namaha.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for joining.
Thank you so much, Mataji, Karuna Radhika Mataji, for
Thank you
taking
so
this
much, Hare Krishna.
topic on Sharanagati.
Some exercises are there, which I think we can do next time. But
Yes,
it's
Mataji.
more of a like an internal process. So there's really nothing, physical we can do. So it is our, mood that we have to develop. I think, reading Sharanagati prayers is helpful. Reflecting on our situation, where we are and where we want to be is helpful. And
Yeah.
understanding our, limitations, deficiencies, or disqualifications is helpful. Thank you, Mataji. Anybody wants to add something? Your own reflections, your own experience.
Thank you, Mataji.
I'm just conveying. I have a long way to go. I'm just conveying what His Holiness Sachinandan Swami has so nicely written in this book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Recently, Mataji, in one, I think you all know Girivar Prabhu, Lakshmi Leela Mataji's husband. He was here when we were doing 128 rounds, and he had put so nicely, like kind of a hasan, and then he had a book. He had Guru Maharaj's picture, Prabhupada, and then the Harinam ka ek book, and then sitting. Then he had his own hasan, and then he was chanting. So, and he was every time he was reading. So at first I didn't understand what is that, because that book is again Prabhupada's. It's a very old one. Then I asked, and from then I also started like because Mataji, when we are chanting, no, our mind goes here and there, and we'll forget. So taking the book of this Vaishnava songs, just whatever, like whatever page comes,
Yes.
Read out one or two stanza, one line, and then do the chant. It's really nice.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, Mataji.
Remember that.
Yeah, like this book also has many prayers. Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Very helpful, because otherwise.
Very helpful.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Angi Anga.